Most men lack confidence. We just do. And it's because we're stuck in what I call the proving game. We are constantly chasing status, money, physique, followers, some level of productivity, the latest and greatest alpha male nonsense, and it is exhausting. And it can stop today. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what confidence actually is and how it improves literally every area of your life. And then I'm going to share a 10-minute exercise you can do right now to start building real world confidence on evidence, not empty motivation. All right, imagine this. What if there were one mental quality that if you had it, if we installed it in your brain right now, it would make you richer, happier, smarter, more creative, more influential, just an overall magnetic human being? According to neuroscientist Ian Robertson, there is, and it's called confidence. And I'm not talking about the kind of confidence that's actually arrogance, that puffs a person up to think they're superior to everybody else. No one likes those kind of people. I'm talking about actual confidence that's built on the idea that I can handle whatever comes my way. So let's start with this. How can confidence make a person richer? Well, if I'm a confident person, I'm going to step into rooms and I'm going to involve myself in conversations that some people around me just wouldn't feel worthy of. And I'm going to take more risks because I know I can overcome whatever challenges come with those risks. That's what confidence provides. And when I find myself in those rooms, I am a more magnetic person and I connect with networks and groups of people who can put me in better financial situations. They can open up opportunities for me. These kind of confident people, they apply for the job. They ask for what they want. They negotiate. They go out and build something for themselves. And that is why they see the success that comes. And it's not to prove anything to anyone around them. It is to develop their capacity to contribute. All right, here's how confidence makes you happier. Confident people, truly confident people, tend to be more optimistic. And it's not because they think everything's going to go their way. It's because they realize no matter what, I'll find my way. And that kind of hope leads to resilience. I can overcome anything, and it might suck for an extended period of time. I might lose a lot, but overall, I trust in my own ability to rise above, therefore happiness. All right, here's how confidence actually makes you smarter and therefore more creative. When you are not confident, when you lack confidence and you are faced with a challenge or something that's really difficult, what happens? You get overwhelmed. You get inundated with these feelings of stress and you don't know how to manage. And it literally hijacks your prefrontal cortex, which is where you solve problems. That becomes a haze of stress and anxiety. When you believe you can handle a problem, when you believe you'll find a way, that fog clears up and you get access to your brain again. You get access to your problem-solving faculties. And when you do that enough, even when you face things that you're like, I don't know how I'm going to overcome this. I've never bumped into this before. You look back and realize, man, I've overcome that. And I did that. And I didn't think that was going to work. And somehow I made it happen. I survived that. Confidence stacked on top of confidence opens up your mind to solve problems and make you a more creative person. Confidence frees up your prefrontal cortex. All right, here's how confidence makes you more influential. Human beings hate uncertainty. Unless we're watching a show and we want that cliffhanger to keep us going for the next episode, if we're talking about real everyday life, we don't want uncertainty. We don't want cliffhangers. We want to follow someone who seems to know who they are and where they're headed. That's what gives us confidence. So when you have that, when you are a person of confidence, people look and go, I want to follow that guy. He seems to know what he's doing. You become someone worth following. So this sounds great, right? Sign me up for more confidence. But how does this actually take shape in your life? According to that neuroscientist, Ian Robertson, confidence is built on two things: can do and can happen. So let's unpack these really quick. Can do is based on what psychologists call self-efficacy. And this is different from self-esteem. Self-esteem is like, overall, I'm happy with myself. I believe in myself as a human being, which is really important. I hope you have self-esteem. I hope that's something you're developing, but self-efficacy is different. Self-efficacy means I believe I can make it happen. I believe in my capacity. I know that I am capable. It doesn't mean I can do anything, and it doesn't mean that everything comes to me easily, but overall, I can adapt, I can grow, I can learn, I can develop my skills, and I'm resourceful enough to get help when I need it. When you install self-efficacy, that is a big step forward towards confidence. Can happen has to do with your outlook. It's saying when I look at my life as a whole, when I look at my environment, when I look at my plans and my goals and my dreams, I believe these things can happen. I don't necessarily think they're going to come easily or that I'm a lucky person, but I believe this can work out. I'm overall optimistic. Most men get stuck in that proving game and they either swing between one or two things. On the one side, it's, I can do anything. I can dominate this, which is inflated, empty ego. On the other side is, I can't. I'm worthless. I am just absolutely incapable, which is deflation. It's like an empty balloon. Either way is toxic. Either way, you will never be a truly confident person. So where do we go from here? Real confidence says no matter what, I can do something. I can take action, and my effort actually matters. So what would the opposite of this be? What would a severe lack of confidence look like? Can't do, won't happen. So here's what that would look like. No matter how hard I try, I just can't stick to this meal plan. Can't do. But even if I could, no matter what, I just can't lose weight because of my cursed metabolism. It's my terrible genetics. Won't happen. So the obvious question becomes, how do I actually develop a can do, can happen mindset, right? Well, here's what we don't do. The answer is not affirmations, as powerful as those can be. I would use those. I would actually speak to your mind because, as my English teacher taught me, repetition is the mother of memory. So the more positive I can be with my affirmations, the better my thinking, the better my behaving, so on and so forth. So I'm not saying scrap affirmations, but that by itself isn't going to build confidence. The answer isn't positive thinking. Because you can positive think yourself into a chair and do nothing with your life. The answer isn't binge listening to a bunch of podcasts from alpha bros who tell you you're not doing enough. To get your lazy butt off the couch, wake up at 4 a.m., get in a cold plunge, run 10 miles, do. Every one of us needs a kick in the ass sometimes, but that by itself isn't a solution. And more often than not, it just leads to more problems. It's not even surrounding yourself with people who think you're amazing. Listen, we all need a community of people who believe in us, support us, cheer us on, but their belief isn't necessarily going to equate to your own personal belief. The most reliable path to confidence is evidence. Not evidence of your worth, evidence of your capability. Please listen, if you hear nothing else from this, your worth is already fixed. It is inherent. There's nothing you can do to add to it. There's nothing you can do to diminish it. Confidence is what you build on top of your worth through effort and through experience. All right, there are no shortcuts here. You cannot think yourself into confidence. It is effort and experience over time. But listen to this. Here's something that I have learned through my years of training and coaching and leading people. You already have more experience than you give yourself credit for. There are things that you have achieved and accomplished and overcome that you've forgotten about. And if you don't recognize it, if you don't feel it, you don't have access to it. And therefore, you don't have confidence. So this exercise, I'm going to teach you right now, this practice I'm going to walk you through is going to help you unearth some relevant confidence right here, right now. All right, so let's do this. Let's microdose some self-actualization right here. Just grab something to write with, or grab your phone if you're not listening to this or watching this on your phone, and just capture this. Let's talk about overlooked hard things, all right? What are 3 things that you once thought were difficult? Maybe they intimidated you, maybe you avoided them forever, and then you did them, you developed the skill, or you overcame them, and now they come naturally to you. Now they're just completely normal. Maybe this is public speaking, standing up in front of a group and sharing, or leading a team meeting, or having a hard conversation. Maybe you changed careers. Maybe you thought you were going to do this job forever or stay in this industry for the rest of your working life, and you pivoted. You went in a completely different direction. You were nervous about it, but you did it, and now you can't even think about anything else. Maybe you became a dad. Maybe despite your upbringing and the volatile relationships that you saw all around you, you have a partner and you show up in a good way. You're not perfect, but you're doing better than what you experienced. Maybe getting in shape. Maybe you lost weight, gained weight, put on muscle, ran a marathon, did something difficult with your body that you avoided for years and you stuck with it. Maybe you set a boundary in your relationships, in your friendships, in your working life, and it was awkward. You didn't want to have the conversations. You didn't know how it was going to be perceived. You don't like being judged, but you prioritized it and went and did it anyways. Maybe you quit something unhealthy. An eating pattern, substance use, whatever it might be, you know it, and you've probably just forgotten about it because you're so busy going through life, or you're so busy trying to prove yourself, or you don't give yourself enough credit. Capture these things. And if you have more than 3, write more than 3. All right, now think about this. From that list, what skills did you acquire? Did you develop? What did you overcome? More importantly, what did you learn about yourself or other people? Most men forget what they've already conquered, what they've already overcome, and it is such an unfortunate waste. All right, reflection number 2, quiet competence. What are some things that people come to you specifically for? They find in you, they look to you to provide. Maybe it's fixing things, and you do it second nature. Maybe people come to you for advice. Maybe it's large-scale advice in the business realm, or maybe it's just someone coming to you for feedback on how they could have handled a situation. Maybe they value your perspective. Maybe you have the ability when everybody else is freaking out to stay calm. Maybe you just show up. When other people bail, you stay, and you show up consistently, and you support your people. Maybe you are the trusted problem solver in your circle of friends, or at work, or in your family, or just with the people who know you well. I need you to understand this is contribution, and it's inherently and incredibly valuable. All right, so we talked about the importance of evidence. So in this last reflection, I want you to find evidence of follow through, and I want to narrow this down. In the last 30 days, where have you kept promises to yourself? Maybe you set a goal in the new year to wake up early, and you've been doing that fairly consistently. Maybe it's working out. Maybe you either started working out after not doing so for a while, or maybe you just dialed in a better workout routine and you've been consistent with it. Maybe it's a spiritual practice that you've been consistent with. You started to pray or meditate or journal or read reflections, whatever it might be, to get out of the fray of the day-to-day and lock into something sacred, that hum underneath everything else. Maybe it's as simple as you had a hard conversation. You knew it was time. You've been kicking the can down the road forever. You didn't want to do it. Everything in you was screaming to avoid it. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe you wanted to go on the attack, but instead of lashing out, you reeled it in and had a productive, direct, painful maybe, but real important conversation. Self-trust is built on promises that you keep to yourself, to other people, and it's one after the other, and it's stacked up over time, which leads to true confidence. I want you to notice the shift here. If you wrote these things down, or even if you just took time to actually reflect, there are some things that you've overlooked. It's pretty amazing to know that you already have some confidence underneath, some layers of your life. And the more you unearth it, the better foundation you have to build even greater confidence, even more capacity for change. All right, so here's where this lands. The proving game, the game most of us spend our lives playing, forces us to rent our worth. And the rents do every day. And it's constantly being jacked up. It's never enough, never will be. It's always going to be more and more expensive. Betterment, what we're after, reminds you that you already have worth and that your confidence and your contribution is built on top of that. And as your confidence grows, so does your income. So does your impact. So does your influence and happiness and creativity and intelligence and capacity to make a difference. And whether you realize this or not, that's what you want to do. You want to make a difference. You want to matter because maybe you don't already know that you do. But when you realize that, when you tap into that, you get to show that to other people. Can do, can happen, and your life gets to be the evidence.